next thing we're going to do is we're going to color in our tree trunks, and I'm going to show you a neat way to color them in to help it look more like the bark of a tree. So I'm going to start with a brown Sharpie, and the first thing I'm going to do is outline my tree trunk and my branches. So I'm starting and just following over the pencil lines I made. And when you're doing your branches, you might find that your Sharpie might be thick enough so that you can just kind of fill in your branches. So once you've done the outline, the next thing you can do is rather than coloring in the tree trunk solid, I'm just going to have you make streaks. Go down and then up and then down, up. Keep going down and up along your tree trunk until more of your tree trunk gets filled in. It is going to be okay to have little gaps in between your lines, because we're actually going to fill that in with a different color. Okay, so that's probably as much as I want to fill in that tree trunk. So I'm going to switch to my next color. You can either use a peach color, a tan color, or like a super light pink color. Any of those would work. And what I'm going to do with this is just fill in, go over my whole tree trunk and fill in any of those white spots. So right now you might not think that this peachy color is a very good color for your tree trunk, but when we paint our background, when we paint the sky blue, we're going to be painting right over our Sharpie lines, and it will kind of blend the color with this peach color, and I think it will look, give it a more natural tone to it. All right, so same thing. Next one, trace your lines for your tree trunk. Go over your branches. Doesn't have to be perfect. And then down, up, down, up, down, up. Keep going down and up until you fill in more of the tree trunk. Doesn't have to be filled in solid. Switch to your lighter color. Fill in your gaps. Also, I'm going to ask you to use a Sharpie board under your paper so that you don't get little Sharpie marks on your table like I am. Next thing, same thing. Now you can see I'm going over my line super quickly. You can take a little more time. I just want to get through each of these so you can see all the steps. Down, up, down, up. Keep going. All right, that's good. Whoops. Switch to your light color. Color in the gaps. Sorry if the video is shaking. My table is shaking. Same thing, trace your lines, go over your branches. Ooh, that wasn't very good. Make those little Ys. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Floor table. It's getting all marked up. Okay. So you see how I didn't go over that pencil line exactly? That's going to be a spot where I will want to erase. So that's why I draw lightly, so that I can erase easier. Fill in the gaps. So eventually we are going to erase our focal point. You're not going to trace over that for any reason. That was just to give you something to point your trees towards. Now you could do this same project without Sharpies. You could just use markers, but you wouldn't want to paint over your marker with watercolors like what we're gonna do for the sky. Because if you paint over marker, it's going to bleed everywhere and your colors will smear and it's not gonna look very nice. But if you did want to do it with marker, you totally could. I would just suggest filling in your sky with something other than watercolor. You could color it with crayon, you could color it with marker, and it might even look nice if you color it with pastels. Give it a nice soft look. But we are using Sharpies because they're fun to use. They're a little stinky, but that's okay. All right, last tree. Follow the lines. Get those branches. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. There we go. Fill in those gaps. Okay, Next thing we're gonna do is paint the sky.